seriously. So you can go down to some old stamp shop and buy old stamps and do the exact same thing. It's kind of fun. People remarked on them. I went to one guy's office, and he has all of my envelopes, because I've written them numerous times. We're good friends now, and he's got them all in a little stack. Yeah, anyway, maybe he pulls them out just fine. Gimmicky, but
it worked.
Yeah.
Yeah. We have a question back here.
Do you just, to each of your respective fields, what is your sense of the legal market right now? So, I mean, what types of opportunities do you see? Public interest, elder law, and IP?
With public interest, a lot of the agencies are suffering right now because of IOLTA funding cuts and just federal cuts too to LSC, the Legal Services Corporation. Totally blank. Bad moment on the camera. So unfortunately, that's the case. But there are fellowships going on right now. If you're interested in a public interest fellowship, this is the time to be looking for those opportunities. I know a lot of them are open and deadlines will be coming up soon. So in preparation, find other friends who have gone through the fellowship application process, or talk with some of the public interest professors here who have done, had SCADN or Equal Justice Works fellowships. You can talk to me if you're interested, preparing for that. But generally, I think there may be an upswing in the future, but right now, at least in California, there's been a cut. So, like I said, I mean, it was the same when I graduated, and you make it happen if that's what you want to do, and that's what I wanted to do. I worked part-time at a private boutique law firm doing litigation work and doing job reviews, things that were interesting and definitely added to my resume, but that's not where my passion laid. So I volunteered and still made those connections in the public interest community, and eventually found this position, and I've had a wonderful time working at OneJustice.
Well, I'm a big booster for elder law because it's a tremendous growth area in the law, and not only are the baby boomers aging and retiring and passing away, fast. I mean, this is unprecedented, literally, in the history of recorded human civilizations, to have an elderly population like the one we're going to have in the next 40 years. So I really encourage you, if you have interest in elder law, that it's a really great area to get into. And elder law means a lot of different things. But not only that, I have found that the elder law community, the legal community, I can't conceive of a more welcoming, collegial bunch of people. I mean, really, I have found people who are really wanting young lawyers to come in. There are not a lot of young lawyers going into elder law, and I don't understand this. There aren't classes here at campus on elder law. I don't really get that, except for wills and trusts, which is not strictly a elder law field. So tremendous growth potential. And I would say if I don't know that people are necessarily hiring in SCADs, but if you have an entrepreneurial bent, I would really encourage you to consider opening up your own shop and not necessarily waiting for that magic job. You can always do what I did, and when I continued to look for opportunities, and then I dropped my solo practice when I found one. So elder law is a really good, promising field right now, and the thing is, that's not very affected by the economic downturn. So
IP tends to be a very follow the money kind of hiring cycle. Unfortunately, right now, in contrast to public interest, there seems to be all-time highs for valuations and venture spending. So if you end up in IP work with .coms or startups, you probably have a lot of work to do. Our firm has a lot of work to do right now, just because there's a lot of people with a lot of money to spend on trademark enforcement, domain name acquisitions, and stuff like that. In general, though, I've heard that firms are starting to hire. I know that there was a big freeze, after our little 2008 crash, and IP is one of the first things that larger companies are willing to cut back on because trademark enforcement doesn't become, as important, and patent litigation isn't as important when you're trying to hang on as a company. And right now, for whatever reason, they have just tons of money and people they're really flush. So as you probably read in the newspaper, there's a lot of patent cases going on right now, which is kind of crazy. And they're talking a lot about patent reform because there are so many patent litigation issues. So it really just depends. And if we were to have another crash, that could disappear overnight. And I think larger firms are getting a little more comfortable with where we are right now. Smaller firms kind of ride it out depending on who their client base is. It just really depends on how the market's doing and who's lending money to who.
Do any other questions, or? Okay, well, we'll wrap it up, and tell your friends too if they couldn't make it today. We're going to have this on. If you go to the LCS website, LCS online website, we'll have it on YouTube sometime next week. You can just find the link to the YouTube video. Okay, thank you very much. Appreciate it.